Brother, welcome back to another video. I'm excited to have you here because in this episode, what we're going to talk about is your following, because the true story of ladies rejecting men based on their following. So if you're a guy that's dating, you definitely don't want your following on social media to bite you in the butt. And I'm going to go into detail on how it can do so and give some examples and just explain the importance of it for you, because it really reveals how you are and it speaks a lot more than you realize. And of course, I have 3 spots left for my 90-day program, the Dating Accelerator, where I guide you at the end of 90 days to being in a Christ-centered relationship with an amazing woman. So if you're looking for advice, guidance from a man who's married himself to get there, definitely the program for you. For more information, link down below. Let's dive right in and let's get into this video. Here's what I want to talk about. I was reading a story of how this guy approached this girl. She found him attractive, right? They exchanged information, got his Instagram. Things were going great until after following this guy, after they connected, she noticed that her suggestions on Instagram, her people to follow, whatever the Instagram algorithm changes to after him, was full of like OnlyFans models or Instagram models. It completely shifted. So she goes and she looks at who he follows. This guy's following like 30 OnlyFans models, following like half of his people, or 70% is like Instagram, like female influencers and stuff. You know, things like that do not make you look good, especially to a serious woman. Obviously, when you're following people that are doing certain kind of work on the internet, nudity, it's not a good look. You're not serious. You come off as a something boy, you know what I'm saying? That's really what you look like. Because first of all, what business do you have following these 30 OnlyFans models? Like, get real. Like, what are you talking about? Because you need to understand that if you're a guy that's addicted to nudity, you're addicted to that type of content, girls do not see you as someone they can trust, because those people that are super addicted to that kinds of stuff, it's not an honorable thing. And on top of it, it's one thing to be addicted to it and seek help, but it's something else to be addicted and be comfortable in that lifestyle to where you have your following literally displaying all these OnlyFans models and all these Instagram influencers. So if you're a guy who's doing that nonsense, you need to cut it off and you need to quit if you're serious about seeing results and you want a relationship that leads to something like marriage. Because the type of woman you're gonna attract, they're not serious. The highly desirable women that have self-respect, they don't want a guy that's following 30 OnlyFans models. They don't want a guy that's following 30, 40, 50 Instagram influencer models just to watch, soft P word on Instagram. You need to understand that your following, where you put your attention, is a reflection of your character. Just like people say, show me your spending habits, I'll show you who you are. If you're over here spending all this money on OF, you're over here spending all this money on all this nonsense, all this debauchery, it's only showing that that's what you really value. That's where your mindset is at. And you're not someone who's ready for a serious relationship. So don't even waste the lady's time. And I'm just keeping it 100% because you need to understand that in this game of dating, it's a very, very serious game. It requires effort. It requires dedication. It requires improving yourself. And if you're not willing to put in the work, don't even play. Like, save yourself the heartbreak. Save yourself the time of half butting it, of over here trying to, work on yourself. Then at the same time, you're over here following all those people that just take away from your life. If you're a man that's wanting to be someone that's a leader, wanting to lead your family, wanting to be the guy that she looks up to and she respects, your following better reflected. You better at least be following sensible things, you know what I'm saying? But if you're following all that kinds of nonsense, all that kinds of foolery, you're not even serious and you're not a respectable person that she's gonna wanna follow. And I just need to be transparent in this video because I think someone needs to be a guy that says it to the guys, a guy that just calls things out for what it is. And I think someone needs to hear this. So if you're a guy who is following is based on OnlyFans models, all these Instagram influencers, stop it, unfollow them. Like, what are you doing? How are you actually bettering your life by following all these women? You're not. So have content that actually betters you, have content that actually improves who you are, where you're trying to go in life, because you need to understand that eventually people will see who you truly are. People can put up a facade, people can put up an act in dating. So many people do that. I did that before. But the truth is, at the end of the day, who you really are comes out, because actions speak louder than words. So you can have all these words, all these nice things you say. You can have all this game and all of the above. But at the end of the day, who you really are is what matters. And that's why it's important that if you really do want to improve in dating, if you really do want to see success, it's important that you're a person whose life reflects that, reflects putting in work, reflects improvement, reflects taking things serious. The Bible says, whatever you find to do with all your might, right? Even talks about doing things as unto the Lord. And I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect, and we're not gonna act like we don't sin. We're human beings. I understand that. But it is a different thing to be a dog that returns to his vomit, which is in Proverbs, and to be a righteous man who falls and gets up 7 times. One thing is messing up. One thing is like, are you even trying? Like, it's not like, oh my goodness, man, I don't know what happened on the internet, I messed up. Bro, you're literally following them. Like, you're living, like I mentioned this a lot of times, there's a difference between living a life where you sin, iniquity, and wickedness. Be careful. Be careful, because we are told to flee from sexual immorality. And if you're not even fleeing, if you're actually, you're following, you're inviting into your life, don't even work on dating. Just work on improving that area of your life first before you are trying to get a connection with someone, because all that stuff is going to hurt your connection. Your ability to have intimacy with women is going to be really damaged by all that content, by all that stuff, because that's what it does. But I hope you got value from today's video. Might lose some subscribers. I don't really care. It needs to be said. But I hope you stay blessed. Take it easy. Subscribe for more content. See you next time. Peace out.